Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another episode of Beyond Windows with your host, Karan Shah. Our guest for today is someone whose experience in Indian fenestration industry is probably as old as our industry itself. A 5 foot 2 inch guy, but don't go by that. He has a very big brain and a very sharp mind to complement that as well. I'd like to welcome today BK Ramesh, CEO, Managing Director, Zen Windows. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Karan. It's my pleasure to be on your show.
Well, I hope you have a great time and probably we get to know a lot more about some of aspects of your life which are still not known to everyone. Um, you born in a very humble family in Bhadravati. It's a small district, I think probably a little bigger now, but more of an industrial town. So spend a big part of your initial life there. If you can just share a little bit more about that part of your life first before we start off with the bigger part of other things.
Bhadravati is an industrial town. It was built in 1930, and you will be surprised to know we lived in the same quarters for about 67 years. When my grandfather moved into that house in, I think, 1930, and my father vacated that house in 1997. So it's a long history. Bhadravati is not a district place; it is a taluk place. Now it is more like a dungeon because there are no mines available for making iron. At one point of time, Bhadravati was one of the booming cities in Karnataka and in India. So Bhadravati is one of the Saptaratna of steel industry those days. So we are born in a steel city. Bhadravati is called a steel city. My grandfather worked in a steel mill, and my father got a job, father to son. So my father also worked as an employee in the steel mill, and yeah, pretty much that. So my initial 20 years of life happened in Bhadravati.
What I also understand is that English was not something which came naturally to you, or rather didn't happen to you for a long time. I mean, you studied in a Kannada school till I think probably class 7th, if I'm not wrong, and that's when the
Yes.
transition happened to English. But at the same time, you were always fond of English songs also. That's quite a paradox. I mean, were you like one of those wannabes who always wanted to just hear the tunes of English songs? What was the reason?
English songs always fascinated me, though I never understood what is the lyrics and what are the contents of the song. But before I even started writing a sentence, I used to sing ABBA and Elvis kind of songs. So when I joined into 8th standard into English medium, I did not know because the teachers were already teaching in English. So I never knew how to write in English. So for the entire 1 year of my life in the 8th standard, I used to write whatever teacher is saying in English. I used to write in Kannada and come back home and then retranslate it back to English. So probably a little bit like Sonia Gandhi. You have to, you have to write Hindi in Italian and then you read that Italian. Devagowda also used to read Hindi like that. He used to read in Kannada, write in Kannada.
So this is as far as your English is concerned. But what about your Hindi? How good is it?
So it happened so that there is something called Dakshin Bharat Hindi Prachar Sabha. They actually promote the education of Hindi, the knowledge of Hindi for the South Indian states. So I got enrolled into Dakshin Bharat Hindi Prachar Sabha to learn Hindi at the age of 7. I was in 2nd standard. And the teacher refused me to take inside. At the 2nd standard, you don't even know your native language. So how can you learn a secondary language? So that's how they did not allow me to go inside. So I sat near the door and I started listening to what they are speaking and all. So they took me finally inside. And it is kind of current. It is 10 exams, 6 months, one exam. And the 10th exam, if you complete, you are equivalent to MA in Hindi. You can become a Hindi teacher. So by the time I finished my 7th standard, where I was studying in Kannada medium, I had already completed 9 exams. So when you speak to me in Hindi, you'll probably realize that I don't speak uh, a South Indian Hindi. My Hindi is more like a North Indian Hindi.
Fascinating, I must say that. But as I said, probably just shows the how the brain can work, and it's all about how you want to learn, and if you have the will at the same time. But I want to also understand you didn't only have love for language. You, if I'm not wrong, you wanted to become a doctor. You took a gap year after class 12, and from turning into a doctor, you turned into a civil engineer. I mean, how did this happen? Why did this happen? I mean.
That's kind of a tragedy, tragic story of my life. Um, I completed my 12th standard in 94. I wanted to become a doctor. So, and in that year, when we took a CET, the Common Entrance Test, my ranking for medicine were not that great. So I could not get a free seat. But my engineering rankings were good. But I did not wanted to go to an engineering discipline. So I dropped 1 year, 94 and 95. And again, I retook the CET. Again, I retook my class 12. And I got better percentages this time. And 95, I had a good ranking. And I got free seat. But somehow, unfortunately, my family could not mobilize about 25,000 rupees those days. So that's when I was forced to go back to engineering. That's how me as an engineer, uh, I did not wanted to be an engineer.
But you mentioned you ended up joining and went ahead and did engineering. And in that process, you ended up being staying in a hostel also. But that was your first experience living alone as well and living a hostel life. That would have exposed you to new dimensions also in terms of the way of looking at things, interacting with a lot more people. Did it broaden your perspective of life and directions of how you should move forward with other aspects with your career as well?
Um, Karan, you will be astonished to know that the 95 batch of actually most of my friends are non-civil engineering background in the college, and we have been maintaining relationships since 1995 to date. And I have a great bunch of friends, and very very um, what to say, who can give an arm and a leg for each other type of friends.
Hmm.
For last 13 years, current from 2007 onwards, every Saturday, the first Saturday of every month, between 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., we all friends meet. This is about 10 people minimum, about 15 people together. So whosoever comes to Bangalore from US or UK or our secondary circle of friends, plan on their journey to Bangalore around the first Saturday of the month, so that they can come to one place and see all of us, and we can have gala chat. So that's how it is. So and yeah, college life exposed us to great friendships, and it has in a way formed the next part of life. I'm very thankful that thankful to the God that He has best bestowed me with some of the best people on earth. So I really owe my life to all my friends.
Well, that's what hostel life does to a lot of people. Well, I've heard so many stories of the friends that you make in hostel are friends for life, and I'm glad that you enjoying this friendship and probably continuing that and having a great time and the kind of pacts which you've made. Well, it's just happy to hear about all of these things. But what's also true is during your college days is when your enterprising skills also started sharpening up. If I mean, you were selling gulab jamuns. I mean, who does that? Uh, I mean, I know the story, but if you can just share for everyone else, I mean, it's just hilarious in terms of the things you were doing to make money.
Money was very much necessary. You said, नेता मटेरियल को तो पैसा चाहिए. जहाँ हनी होता, जहाँ मनी होता है वहाँ पर हनी होता है. So we needed a lot of money because and I observed that in my hostel, I studied in a community hostel. Next door to our hostel was a hotel where they used to sell two gulab jamuns for 5 rupees. So I decided to make gulab jamuns in our hostel, and almost for 2 years I made gulab jamuns every Sunday, and I used to give them 5 rupees for gulab jamuns. So that's how we made, and on an average monthly I used to make about 2,000 to 2,500 rupees by selling gulab jamuns. Even to date, in my home, I make jamuns. Um, that is the only dish I know how to prepare. I don't even know how to make coffee. Uh, and gulab jamun, I'm an expert gulab jamun specialist. But what this gulab jamun did is that uh, it actually propelled us to the next thinking level. अभी एक बार पैसा आना start हो जाता है तो thinking change हो जाता है. So in the final year, we purchased a car, and we used to go to college in car. And me and my friend, I put in 35,000 rupees. He sold his Yamaha. His father was in Saudi. He is right now. His name is Syed Suhail, and he is in Canada now. He is an IT giant. He sold his Yamaha. He got 35,000. Gave him 35,000 rupees. So we both pulled in 70,000. We went to a place, purchased a second-hand 118 ME Premier Padmini car. And then we enjoyed our final year of engineering. And after the engineering is completed, we sold the car, and we took our money back. He purchased his two-wheeler, and I brought my money back. So that was the entrepreneurial life. And now you can relate to the salesman stories. The salesman was from that time. Yeah.
Clearly, I mean, having the knack, picking up the things in demand and catering to it. I mean, couldn't have been better. If one needs to make money, this is a classic way of understanding what the customer wants, what is the need out there, and addressing that. Fabulous. This is what you did in terms of making money and the interior entrepreneurial side of yours. But what else did you pick up from your friends? I mean, there would have been other things also, was because everyone came from different cultures also. Was there a lot more that you learned from your friends also beyond just catering to their gulab jamun needs and requirements?
Actually, what happened is our association carried forward after engineering. So we stayed in the same rented accommodation in Bangalore, and many of them got IT jobs. Many of our friend circle wanted to become uh, uh, they were not IT professionals. They were not computer science or electronics engineers. They were mechanical, electrical, industrial production, civil, those kind of chemical engineers. They did some software courses and they became software engineers. They studied Java. They became Java professionals. They studied some C, C++. They became developers and coders and then testers. All that they have become. तो मैं देख रहा था यार ये तो कॉग्निटिव एबिलिटीज में मेरे से कम है, लेकिन इनको 40,000 सैलरी आता है और मुझे 3,000 रुपए सैलरी आता है, ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है? तो ये तो होना नहीं चाहिए. तो मैंने सारे दोस्तों को बोला सब आओ इधर बैठे हैं. तो सब बैठे. मैंने पूछा तुम बताओ मुझे आईटी प्रोफेशनल बनना है, विच इज द मोस्ट टफेस्ट कोर्स आई वांट टू डू. So one of my friend, he is also in Canada, and he told my friends call me BK. He told BK, you do Visual C++ and MFC. MFC is Microsoft Foundation class. So मैं पूछा that is a subset toughest. Yes, that is a subset toughest. Job मिलेगा? अरे पक्का गुरु, रेडमंड में मिलेगा यूएस में. Now directly will be taken at Microsoft Redmond. You know what? Coffee costs $60. मैं तो चौंक गया. तो ठीक है. Then I started studying VC++ and Microsoft Foundation class. And it so happened that I used to go. By then I had a job in cement company, and I used to attend the course from morning 5:30 to 8:30. And 8:30 I used to go to my office and finish the day and come back home. So I completed my VC++ and MFC with ease. I was interested and I was able to read. And I pick up new learnings very well. मैं अपने दोस्त को मिलने गया. मैं उसको पूछा कि बॉस, नाउ आई एम a certified Microsoft Foundation class specialist. अब बोलो कहाँ पर अप्लाई करो. तो he said, BK, you will not be able to go to America. ऐसा कैसे यार, तुमने ही तो बताया था. बोला कि Osama bin Laden has put in 2 aeroplanes straight into the World Trade Center, and for 1 year there is going to be no immigration for new recruits. And that's how my dreams of IT professional got quashed. So Osama bin Laden indirectly has a big deal to do with my penetration industry career.
Well, that one, and secondly, ruining your American dream, so-called American dream. Well,
मैं करा American dream तो था, because I never wanted to join any other software industry in India. I only wanted to go to Redmond. and become a Microsoft Windows specialist. Did not happen.
Well, who would have thought? I mean, Bin Laden could have impacted any one of us so directly ever. I mean, who would have thought about that? But here is a classic example how life changed.
40,000 रुपए भी गया.
40,000 रुपए
छह
भी
छह म- 6 महीना भी गया.
सब गया. But coming back to other aspects of you, what so American dream didn't happen. What happened for you was a cement industry. Your first job happened to be in cement industry. Uh, Worked there for 3 years, moved the ranks up, started as a field in charge, and ended up being a branch manager. Those 3 years, I mean, those would have been great. The first job. Did you love selling steel, cement rather? Sorry.
Selling was the worst priority I had. That's the last priority of my jobs. मेरे दोस्त पूछते थे, हम क्रिकेट खेलते थे कॉलेज में. Morning one match, afternoon one match, evening one match. That's all was our regular timetable. And my teachers and my friends used to ask, अरे तुम इतना बंक मारोगे, इतना तुम क्लास नहीं जाओगे और पढ़ोगे नहीं, तो बनोगे क्या? कुछ भी नहीं है तो टाई पहन के सेल्समैन बन जाओगे. So that was the order of my life. That salesman will be the last preferred portfolio I will accept for myself. And it's so life is so convoluting, Karan. I joined a cement company, BK Birla Group, and as a quality assurance engineer. And for first 3 months, I had only 2 calls. Now, because cement is a quality-driven product, and there was no quality complaint. तो मैं देखा कि ये 3 महीने के बाद मुझे निकाल देंगे. वहाँ तो जॉब ही नहीं है. ये लड़का आता है, सुबह से बैठा रहता है. तो माय रीजनल मैनेजर saw it and then he was kind of jealous. तो मैंने एक दिन मैं जाके अपने से बात किया कि देखो भाई, हमको सेल्समैन बनना है, तो आप मुझे सेल्समैन बना दो साहब. तो अरे यार, सेल्समैन क्यों बनना है? तो मैं देखता था ऑफिस में that our office had 4 sales people. We used to go to office before 9 o'clock and I used to close the office at 9 o'clock in the night. ये लोग आते थे 11 बजे आराम से. व्हाट ठाट ऐसा आते थे तो पूरा हवा बन जाता था एक ऐसा. साला ये लोग, मुझे तो बनना है तो सेल्समैन नहीं बनना है. So I became salesman by choice. Sales profession came to me because I got fascinated by sales and I understood that without selling nothing will move. In Sanskrit, Karan, there is a saying, "Tena vina trunamapi na chalati." Without you, a single strand of grass will not move. That's what we tell to Krishna. So in organization also it is same. तेना बिना तृणमपि न चलता. अगर सेल्स नहीं होता है तो एक पत्ता भी नहीं हिलता, एक घास भी नहीं हिलता.
Nice. Well, that's how the sales journey started for you, and probably
Yes.
at heart you're still a great salesman, and a good one there for sure, no doubt on that part. Also, at the same time, in 2003, that's when you got engaged. Also, that time you were a branch manager. Few months later, you got married. By then, you were jobless. I mean, what wrong did you do? What wrong things that you did because of which you didn't have a job, and how did you trick your wife, man, to get married to you at at the same time?
It's a very interesting story. I got engaged on February 20th, 2003, and I was a branch in charge, like a full bird colonel. 16th May and 18th May was my shadi, and 16th April I got a transfer order to a place which was market size was less than the market which I was already handling. In Bangalore, I was handling 20,000 tons cement, and I was transferred to a place with promotion which was a 2,000 ton market. So I felt that though it's a promotion, it's not something which is exciting. I was not getting aroused with that transfer. So मैं सोचा बैंगलोर में इतने सारे अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं, तो मैं क्यों ऐसे छोटे से मोफेसिल टाउन में जाके अपना करियर को बर्बाद करूं. So I went to my wife's place, my in-laws place, and I spoke to my wife and I told her that nothing, we are not married. So if you want to call off the marriage, you can call off, but I don't want to go to Davangere, and I will be staying in Bangalore. And if you trust me, we will have a great future together. And she said, I trust you. I have faith in you. You go ahead. I will support you in whatever circumstances. And that's how we got married. We got married on May 18th, I put my papers on April 30, and I took 1 month. Uh, 1 month leave, paid leave was there. I took 1 month leave. So on the day of my wedding, I was actually jobless.
Well, as they say, behind every successful man, there is always a woman, and probably it holds true for you as well.
Karan, sometimes I laugh now when people say that, I keep asking, when are you getting married, to my staff and my friends and, my industry colleagues. They say, sir, salary बराबर नहीं है, इतना problem है ये. अरे यार, जिस दिन मैंने शादी किया था, मेरा तो नौकरी भी नहीं था, तुम्हारा तो salary था.
Very true. That's a very scary thought, actually, to have of not having a job when you're getting married. But well, that's how some of the risk and the gambles that you have taken, and they've taken and they've paid out well for you. But it's also probably going with your gut feeling by the end of it, and you do a lot of that generally. There are a lot more which you have done in your life. We're going to talk about all of that also. But so marriage happened, and so did soon enough Finista. I mean, you had a very brief stint in a newspaper industry, and then very soon enough from there, Finista happened for you. How did this happen? I mean, almost 8 years spent there. How would you sum up your experience of those, first big fenestration experience and the almost 8 years in Finista?
I cannot describe that journey, Karan. Probably you need to talk to me for about close to 2-3 months uh, for me to explain my journey, because I remember every single incident with date and time. Um, it was very fulfilling. I'm happy that I worked in that company. Um, I'm very very thankful to the management of Fenesta, that they picked up people and they trained them, they motivated them, they mentored them, they coached them, and they made them. Fenesta created lot many leaders in the industry, and I have my deepest respects for the chairman and vice chairman and deputy managing director of that time, Mr. Rajiv Sinha, and my boss, Mr. Sandeep Mathur. Extraordinary human beings, and I really liked them. It was dream come true kind of a job. It's a dream kind of a company. I'm sure it must be even now. I do not know if I lost connections about a decade now. Great company to work for, and since I had this dream of working for Microsoft Windows, it did not happen with Microsoft Windows. It happened with Fenesta Windows. So मैं तो अपना target achieve कर लिया भाई.
Well, no doubt. I've heard so much. We all know how great that organization is. Obviously, it's created so many leaders, and we are talking to one right now out of that specific company itself. You're also you were looking after the Bangalore market at that time. You were the first employee for South India. Um, your first order itself that you managed to generate for Finista was a big one. Was the first big order that Finista had that came from Brigade. A massive one. All of a sudden, I mean, how did that happen?
No, I always see glass half full. I never see glass half empty. That is a major difference between a salesman and a businessman. I do not see life from a pessimistic point of view. I see always life from a very, very colorful point, very optimistic point of view. And I knew that I could see that, this is a great product than what the customers were using at that time. And it is just a matter of, there is a product and there is a need, and I need to connect this product and need. So this is what I needed to do. And I knew these customers before. Brigade was my customer. I used to supply cement to them. So I knew the entire purchase team. So I went to them and I told them, look, boss, we have a great product. But by then they already bought Sara LG. There was a Coimbatore-based company. They had bought the Sara LG for their previous job. I told them that, look, whatever you have, I can do equal or better than what you have. So why don't you come to our shop and visit? So it was the first order of 1,000 plus windows, 1,554 numbers to be precise. And it happened on 18th May 2004.
But your memory is very good for sure. I mean, precise with the numbers also. But probably that's what happened.
There is a reason for that. Just a hilarious one encounter. May 18th is my anniversary. That was first anniversary. And I had a baby. My baby was 20 days old. And my wife was in my in-laws place, and she was looking for me from morning. I said, "अभी आज order आने वाला है, पहला order आने वाला है, लेके आता हूँ." So I went to customer place. I sat in their office 10:30 in the morning, and by the time the signing authority came, it was already 8 in the night. So उन्होंने बोला कि भाई कल दे देता हूँ. मैं बोला सर नहीं सर आज ही दे दो, मेरा एनिवर्सरी है, अगर बिना ऑर्डर के घर में जाऊंगा तो बीवी मारेगी. तो उन्होंने रात को 8 बजे वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट साइन करके दिया. आई केम आउट एंड आई सॉ दैट इट वाज रेनिंग. सो टू व्हीलर में विद द ऑर्डर इन हैंड आई कुड नॉट गो टू माय इन-लॉज प्लेस. So by the time I reached my wife and we saw each other, it was already 1 a.m. On the 19th May. So that was my first anniversary date. That's why I remember this date very well.
So basically, wedding, on the day of wedding, you were jobless. So that itself would have scared man at the first place. On the first anniversary, again, you were gone and couldn't be found around. So, I mean, you've given enough scares to your family for sure. There's no doubt on that part. This is not that you left Finistar, but your journey in fenestration industry didn't stop there. You continued, you took the bold decision of continuing in the same industry. But you started off as a trading house before you got into the manufacturing side. What was the reason of not starting the manufacturing immediately? Someone who was selling the product was confident about his abilities. Why wasn't he confident about starting the manufacturing facility immediately and had to think of first being in the trading side?
I somehow felt that it's not worth that risk. पहले तो for generations we are from employee background. We were, and I proudly call myself that an accidental entrepreneur. I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. That is probably one of the reasons I changed over from my previous job to the next assignment. मुझे पता था कि मैं कहीं भी जाऊंगा तो डबल सैलरी में जाऊंगा, तो इंक्रीमेंट में नहीं जाऊंगा. तो 100 है 120 में नहीं जाऊँ, 100 है तो 200 या 250 में जाऊँ. इतना कॉन्फिडेंस था मेरे ऊपर मुझे. तो I somehow felt that I should experiment with my life, and I knew only window. I did not know. I was eating, sleeping, drinking window. So what should I do? I don't know anything else. No, I don't know IT. I don't know anything. I knew every customer. I knew the technology. I knew the products. I knew the vendors. I knew customer. But I did not have money. So Torfenster का मैं Torfenster के साथ में 1 साल के लिए काम किया. Torfenster के हमारे जो नरेन भाई है वो मेरे बड़े भाई जैसे हैं, और हम दोनों के बीच में बहुत प्यार है, बहुत अच्छा तालमेल है. तो that's how I worked with him for 1 year.
But eventually you decided to get into the manufacturing, and you decided to do that with LG houses. Why LG? I mean, of all the things which are there, why did you choose LG at that time? Because it was not the most popular one in India. What attracted you to work and go ahead with them and worked out such a great association over the years?
Good question, Karan. LG Houses was not present in Bangalore those days. So I wanted to have association with a partner who is not present in my market. So I don't have to fight an internal competition. We can fight external competition. वो तो हमारा फितरत है, हमारा नौकरी ऑक्यूपेशनल हजार्ड है. हम दोनों एक कभी कभी फ्रेंड्स होते हैं, कभी कभी कॉम्पिटिटर हो जाते हैं, कभी कभी इंडस्ट्री कोलीग्स हो जाते हैं. तो सब लोग तो जानते थे. मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल वर ट्रेन्ड अंडर मी हु वर वर्किंग इन different organizations that time. So LG had a good brand name, good profiles. Though I still consider that as they have an industrial grade profile, which we used to sell in both buildings, builders and consumers. But they had great hardware, and they were not present in our market. So this is what pushed us to take up LG Houses as a profile supplier partner.
Well, also they had some fabulous, coming from a hardware guy, they definitely had some amazing hardware which they used to get from Korea, and they really set the benchmark really in terms of the quality parameters that they had there. You've just recently completed 10 years of Zen, and congratulations on that. But in these 10 years also, which one will you say was the most difficult time for you in Zen, the difficult phase of Zen in various ways possible? So was there a phase like that for you as well as an entrepreneur?
Yes. I think 2015 was the worst phase for our business, especially for Zen. That's when the demonetization happened and the GST got introduced and RERA got introduced. So within a span of 12 months, there are three major legislations came into picture. And since I was working with many big developers and my clients were large, they were deeply impacted by these decisions, and the projects got slowed down. And our collections, our payments really became difficult. And that is when I really felt that the stress was there. That is the most difficult torrid time of my life between 2017 to 2018. It was difficult, and still it is cascading. Those whatever got piled up those days, we are still struggling to manage, and then we are closing those activities. But that was the biggest impact. The second biggest impact happened in this COVID period, when the business was peaking and there was boom happening, and suddenly everything got standstill. So I think these are the two times I felt that businesses are really, really tough.
Well, lockdown is something, and this pandemic is something which everyone is dealing with, yes. But I can only imagine how the demonetization would have also kind of impacted you. But things are getting better, and that's the best part, and that's only a good sign.
Yes.
And one can only go get stronger from here. That's the one way of looking at things at the same time. But if I ask you about what's the typical BK Ramesh every day or every week schedule, because as I said, the team does the job really well for you as well. You are the ring master. So what is this ring master's every day look like?
I'm basically an installation manager of our company. Uh, so 4 days in a week I spend inside, 2 days in office, and 1 day in factory. These are the 7 days of my life. And I follow a principle called the sphere of silence. There is a process. If you Google, you will get it. It's called ITSOS, in the sphere of silence. I picked it up from a network marketing company where I was associated for a brief period of time. I felt that is a very great knowledge tool to plan oneself. So still follow sphere of silence, which helps me to plan my day better than most of the people.
Well, no wonder that's how you manage to do so many things together. Like there's so many things you're at it, and then I don't know how it's actually possible to do all of that together, in one particular day or in one particular week at the same time. But well, over a period of time, and recently, this is when you ended your partnership with LG Houses, and then you gone to a new one with Incraft India. क्या अवनीश जी ने ऐसी क्या जड़ी बूटी पिलाई खिलाई ये कि ये तरफा इनक्राफ्ट की तरफ चला गया?
It was more an emotional decision. It was a very difficult decision for us. Ending up a transaction which was there for about 8 years time, and we have done a couple of 100 crore turnover along with that product, and then it was very difficult for me. But I said, let's bite this bullet. And I was seeing that B2B was not making sense to us. We are getting into B2B and then taking orders at whatever rate, and then projects are getting delayed, the payments are getting delayed, and there is no profitability actually at the end of the day, and the retention monies are getting piled up. So, uh, so it was becoming stressful in life. So that is when I decided that we will move into a mix of B2B and B2C. There are many people, we were scouting, and there are also people who are talking. The difference, you asked what जड़ी बूटी अवनीश जी ने खिलाया. अवनीश जी खुद आया बात करने. अवनीश जी लड़के को नहीं भेजा. अवनीश जी का लड़का अवनीश जी को ही लेके आ गया सीधा. Somehow I felt that this is the relationship which can work. This is the man, who is respectable enough. He respects us, and let's start. And we hit instantly. And he took us to his factory, and then it was a great time. And then we decided to move on. So now I'm rebuilding Zen from scratch again. We are very happy. The kind of closures we have lined up, the kind of funnel it is getting built. I think in a matter of about 6 time, we will be a very, very large B2C company, and we will go probably South India basis. I think plans are in place. I will let you know. You will be one of our prime partners in our growth story with Encraft, and I'm very happy to be associated with them. They are a great company to work for.
Well, I hope this association works out really well and gets great success for both the organizations involved. And recently, you just opened a new, completely a new showroom of Zen once again with the all new offering of yours. And I just hope this just leads to new beginnings by the end of it for you. Uh, but one of the other things also which I've seen is that you're very active on social media. You speak your mind out about various things, about your various experiences and current affairs, things happening around the world. Is it like a vent out for you where you just need to share out? What's the reason?
I will write my learning for the day, and that's how Facebook has come into picture. Facebook is not something which I went out. Facebook is a very deliberate action. It is my digital diary, and I've been doing it for 10 years. I hope one day I will collate all of that and publish my own a book of knowledge. It is happening for last 10 years, and it happens daily. So that's what my social media is. And I also nowadays I am deeply interested in medieval Indian history. In schools we do not learn this. The history of India between 10th century to 20th century is not being told. you know um, Suddenly we from Harsha and Ashoka and Shatavahanas we move into the Baburs and the Mughals and then British. So there is a period of Indian history about close to 800 to 1000 years which is missing, which I am reading now. And whenever I read, you will always find a book on my table. I at least read 100 minutes a day, uh, and I write about it, whatever I'm feeling about it. And most of my Facebook posts are about my yesterday's learnings.
This is not your only interest which you have. You're an avid golf player as well. I mean, you love playing golf. Are you really good at it or just for the fashion sake?
No, no, no. It was my dream. You know, I told you that I was part of a network marketing company for some time. Where my thinkings have changed. Though I was not a very great networker per se, but I learned many things. One of the things I learned from that is writing down dreams, and achieving them. Put a deadline to it and achieve them. So golf was one of my dreams. Having a world class showroom was a dream. So I write down my dreams and I work towards that dream. I don't wish. There is wish, goal, and dream mein wahi to farak hai. So,
Well,
golf
absolutely.
is something which I really really like, and I play well. I'm a 12 handicap in golf.
Nice. So, are there any other sports other than golf also that you enjoy and that you love to play?
I play cricket even now. I play all sports, excepting the horse sports. I played many of the sports. I was playing basketball in our college. You can imagine I'm 5 feet 2 inches, and I was playing basketball because our branch only had 14 boys. We were only 14 people in our class. वो जबरदस्ती लाके मुझे खड़ा कर देते थे. तो ऐसा है, वॉलीबॉल खेला है, बास्केटबॉल खेला है, क्रिकेट तो मैं खेलता हूँ अभी भी. I'm a very avid critic of cricket. I can watch a test match ball by ball 5 days and still do not get bored. That is the kind of passion I have for cricket.
Well, in that case, the next time when we meet, the conversation should not be around the hardware and other things. Probably we can discuss about the last match and some of the best innings which have happened in the cricket. So that'll be good fun to do that. You mentioned about your daughters. Now, while they may not be interested in cricket, but they're doing some of the other good things also. They're into classical dance and other things. So it's great to see that there is more exposure to culture and you paying more attention to all those aspects as well. You celebrate all the festivals in the house because I keep seeing photographs of all of that happening. Whose influence is it? Is this all coming from Mr. BK Ramesh, or there is more coming from your wife on this, or it's someone else? Who's influencing and making all of this happen?
If you want to really ask me that whom I who is the most biggest influencer of my life is my mother-in-law, because my wife is exact clone of my mother-in-law. And my wife Reena, she also runs Zen now. She is she believes in all the culture, history, traditions of our Indian heritage. She is a very proud Indian. She is a very proud Bharatiya. And she says that if I do not do any of the activities, we do not celebrate the festival the way it needs to be celebrated. अगर गणेश पूजा और गौरी पूजा अगर हम द वे इट नीड्स टू बी डन अगर हम नहीं करेंगे और उसको हम मॉडर्नाइजेशन कर देंगे तो हमारे बच्चे सीखेंगे क्या? So my wife makes it a point that we celebrate every festival the way it is recommended, the way it is written, and it's a textbook style kind of functions we do at home. And since that we friends meet once in a month every Saturday, we also happen to meet with our friends' families once in a year on Diwali day. We make a big gala time. All our friends, their parents, their spouses, their children, everybody come. So our objective is that our friendship तो हो गया एक generation के लिए, एक lifetime के लिए हो गया है. Our parents should also become friends, and our children has to also become friends for the next generation. So that is something which we are doing. And for about 12 years now, we have been celebrating Diwali in one of the friends' house. So that's how it is, correct.
Fabulous. I mean, couldn't have been better, and keep building on to the generations. I mean, that's a fabulous ritual which you have, and you have it going right now. Great. The last one for you, and that this entire what we're living in the current situation, the pandemic situation, at the same time, lockdown has given all of us both goods and the bads together. As an entrepreneur on the professional side, it's turned out to be has affected our business adversely. But on the personal front, a lot of people have gained a lot out of this entire situation. Has it happened for you as well? Has it given more time for you to think about your life, spend time with the family? A lot has happened on those lines for you?
I think yes. I said that I'm an optimistic person. I look at life from that perspective. Lockdown हमारे लिए नहीं था. Lockdown तो सारा देश के लिए. So everybody else is whatever they are going through, we are also going through. So there is nothing that I need to be specially panicky about something. अगर सबको जो हो रहा है वो भी वही चीज मुझे भी हो रहा है. तो ये तो एक पॉइंट है. Secondly, it gave us a much needed break, Karan. So I could spend time with my family. I could see my children growing up. मजा आया. That is the positive side of the story. We also released a music video. All the Zen people together, we released a music video. We need to keep engaged people. Everyone. तो हम लोग 40-50 लोगों ने मिलके एक म्यूजिक वीडियो बनाया Zen का एनिवर्सरी के लिए. That has happened.
Well, as you rightly said, lockdown was just a small stop in between to recharge our energy and probably start again.
Absolutely.
That's probably the best way to put it. And but the bigger question is, lockdown में गुलाब जामुन बने या नहीं बने?
बिल्कुल बने, बहुत बार बने.
चलो.
जब भी मूड आया गुलाब जामुन बन गया.
Chalo, then that's been worthwhile. That's all that I'll say. It's been great talking to you, and thank you so much for sharing all these aspects of your life, probably which most of the times probably don't end up being talked about. So thank you so much. And I hope that probably freshened up your old memories at the same time. So I hope you had a great time as much as I did.
I want to end this conversation, Karan, by saying, अच्छे दिन आएंगे. हौसला रखो.
Well, I would not want to add more to it, and that's probably the best way to put it. Things will only and only get better from here. So thank you so much once again for being on the show and having a conversation with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.